Good afternoon and welcome. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you here. I am Dan Weiss, the 16th president of Lafayette College, and I am delighted to welcome all of you here as we celebrate the arrival and appointment of the 17th president of Lafayette College, Alison Byerly. We are delighted to have her here with us today so that we can for all of us who haven't yet had a chance to meet her, we can do so. This is a very special day in the life of the college. It is a new moment for us to look to the future and to think about the past. I celebrate all of that. I know all of us understand deeply that this is a time of great challenge, but also opportunity in higher education, and that Lafayette is especially well positioned to seize those opportunities and to continue to making great progress in the years ahead. And I think the appointment of this new president, President Byerly, is a wonderful opportunity for Lafayette to continue to move forward in exciting ways, to engage those challenges and turn them into opportunities. We are a strong institution that will be stronger in the days ahead under her leadership. She is a friend, a colleague, and this year I look forward to having her as a partner as we make this transition together. So, welcome to all of you. We have a program that I will now initiate by introducing my friend and colleague Alan Griffith, former board chair, and who chaired the search committee that led to this appointment. So please join me in welcoming Alan Griffith.
Good. Thank you, Dan. That's one of the nicer things you've said about me over the last 8 years. So I'm a little nervous. Good. It is truly an exciting day for Lafayette. For many years, our college has had the good fortune to be led by remarkable presidents. Under their leadership and working closely, really partnering with an outstanding and dedicated faculty, and with a skilled administrative staff, and of course supported by a dedicated and very loyal alumni, our college has moved impressively forward on many fronts. The charge to the search committee was quite simple: to identify and help recruit to Lafayette the next president. The bar was obviously a high one as we look back. An individual who could provide the vision and the leadership required to maximize the opportunities and meet the challenges we face, and an individual, and I think this was the most important, who enthusiastically recognized the opportunities we all have for the college, the aspirations we have, and our confidence that we can meet them. The search committee clearly succeeded. Ed will be introducing Alison to you in a couple of moments, and you will quickly see why the search committee is so pleased with its results of its efforts. How did the committee do it? First, Elizabeth McDonald, who served as vice chair, and myself had the wonderful opportunity of working with a terrific committee. They were skilled, they were committed, they were hardworking, and they were very focused on the objective we had. There were many meetings, many interviews, lots of homework, references to do, resumes to read. It was a hard, ongoing task, but it was an inspirational one. It was really a pleasure for me personally, and I know I speak for Elizabeth, who shared the leadership with me, to work with such a dedicated group of individuals who represented a cross-section of the Lafayette community. It was an honor, and I personally thank them. We also clearly benefited from the input and the comments and suggestions, the nominations, the letters of recommendation that we literally received from hundreds of individuals. I know many of you in this room and those watching on your computers or around the country attended one of the many forums that we attended where we all did a lot of listening and answered a few questions, but primarily listened. Our committee, I should note, also benefited tremendously from the guidance and the assistance we received from our nationally recognized and respected consultant, Shelley Storbach, and her terrific senior associate, Sue May. They were wonderful, and they deserve certainly part of the credit here for where we stand today. The work of the committee was not easy. The pool of applicants was highly qualified and deep. Their interest and respect for Lafayette was evident throughout every encounter that we had from them. We got to know a number of them quite well, and we hope that there will be opportunities in the future where our paths will continue to cross. They were terrific individuals, dedicated to liberal arts education, and they're friends that we certainly want to keep going forward. I will now turn the podium over to Board Chair Ed Ahart, who will introduce Lafayette's 17th president. In closing, I should say and acknowledge and recognize that our current board chair is certainly more articulate and certainly better looking than the last one. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Welcome to all of you. It's wonderful to see this overflow crowd, and that reflects how interested we all are in our college and in this wonderful transition process. It's my pleasure to be able to introduce Alison Byerly to you today, and I thought about how to do that. I'm not a big fan of reading bios, so I'm going to do that. I thought about what was important to our search committee, the qualities that I thought of as we were thinking about a new president, and I thought I might relate some of those qualities to you and let you know how we think about Alison with respect to those qualities. First, personal credentials and experience. You can't have somebody lead a great institution without a great background. Lafayette deserves a leader with outstanding academic credentials and broad and deep management experience. A magna cum laude graduate of Wellesley, Alison got her master's degree and her PhD in English from the University of Pennsylvania. She's been a teacher and a scholar of Victorian literature at Middlebury College, one of the nation's most respected undergraduate liberal arts colleges, from 1989 to the present, with a couple of stops along the way. 2002 and 2003, she was a visiting fellow at the Harris Manchester College at Oxford University. In 2008 to 2009, she served as a visiting scholar in English at Stanford, and she currently holds the position of visiting scholar of literature at MIT. Not bad. In addition to her teaching and scholarship, Alison has served as a member of the senior management team at Middlebury for the last 12 years, beginning as Associate Dean of the Faculty and progressing to Dean of the Faculty, Vice President for Academic Affairs, and then to Provost and Executive Vice President. She had responsibility over many areas. Lafayette requires an understanding of the opportunities and challenges facing higher education in general and how Lafayette fits into that picture. While at Middlebury, Alison has been active among the leadership in the country of the people who are thinking about and talking about those issues. She has participated in many conferences as a speaker, as a writer, including here at our own conference last year in April. She is particularly acknowledged across the country as one of the leaders in the emerging uses of technology in higher education, and her leadership in that area will be really important to us going forward. Additionally, Alison understands that the pace of change in higher education today is occurring at a speed that we haven't seen before, and it's critical that we continue to keep up with that, engaged in that process, and engaged with the leaders who are most currently thinking about that. Lafayette needs a president who needs to believe in our strategic direction, be committed to completing that strategic plan that was approved in 2007, but at the same time understanding that that is a living plan that needs to be updated and made more modern all the time. We've had extensive conversations with her about that plan, and she endorses it completely. Currently holding the title as interdisciplinary professor at Middlebury, she is well prepared to lead the discussion about interdisciplinarity and global education here at Lafayette. Whether that is across the liberal arts line or in terms of dealing with the combination of technology and the liberal arts with engineering, with business, she's prepared and interested to do that. She was a key member of the Middlebury team that led to the decision to acquire the Monterey Institute of International Studies in California, a graduate school offering degrees and certificates in a variety of language, business policy, and entrepreneurial studies. And on the other end of the spectrum, she's been very active in enhancing Middlebury's residential commons programs, which provides all students for an opportunity to live in communities that promote individual growth and development, that connect the academic and the residential life, but at the same time allow students to develop lifelong friendships and have a social experience that is encouraging. Lafayette's president requires energy, enthusiasm, and enthusiasm for Lafayette. You'll observe Alison's energy soon enough. She keeps a really rigorous schedule. She has very high standards for herself and for those around her. The job of the college president today is indeed a 24/7, 365 job, as everybody knows. She's been preparing for this, and she's ready to do it. You will also observe, as I have, that she has developed a deep affection for our college already. In the several months that we've gotten to know her, I've seen spots beginning to develop. They are not age spots, they are leopard spots. She is one of us now. Lafayette's president has to be a good listener and a good communicator. Middlebury's particular academic and administrative structure placed Alison in the position of having to be one of the key point people in charge of some of the most challenging issues, ranging from the need to deal with challenging budgets arising from the economic recession in 2008, to the question of whether the Monterey Institute should be acquired, to difficult tenure and promotion decisions, to changes in student residential life. In handling that role very successfully, she developed a broad reputation for being collegial, consistently demonstrating humor and respect for others. She's known as a good listener who, at the end of the day, can also make a decision and lead the college forward. And lastly, to me, Lafayette's president must be a fine person with concern for others and have broad interests. Alison and her husband, Steve, met both in graduate school at Penn. They've been married for many years. They have 2 children, Laramie, who is a sophomore at Carleton, and Ryan, who is a high school freshman. Over the past couple months, as we've communicated almost daily, I've watched her be a mom. I've watched her worry about her kids. I've watched her worry about the schedule that she has and the demands that we were placing on her, how that impacted Steve. I've watched her at the same time think about how to travel with her family, to get home from travels and to go skiing so they had a chance to do things together, to sing in the Middlebury Community Chorus, to watch Middlebury athletic activities, as well as being an avid learner, reader, and scholar. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased and privileged to introduce to you my friend, our colleague, and Lafayette's next president, who happens to be the first woman to hold that position, Dr. Alison Byerly.
Thank you very much for that extremely warm and personal introduction. Probably the first thing I should make clear is that if I had been hired for my skiing or singing ability, I would not have this job. So let's not set the bar too high in every possible regard. I'd like to thank not only Alan and Ed and the entire search committee for this opportunity, but the Lafayette community for being such a wonderfully warm and vibrant place that I could feel it reaching out even from interview rooms in the city of Philadelphia. The strength of this community was so palpable, it was astonishing to me when I first met the members of the Lafayette group that constituted the search committee. Ed has already spoken and Alan has spoken about how well the search committee worked together. And I want to say from the point of view of a candidate that nothing is more important than seeing how a team operates if you're thinking of becoming that team's leader. The search committee is a kind of microcosm of the college. It was my first introduction to Lafayette, and I was incredibly impressed with the dedication and the enthusiasm and the energy that every member of the search committee brought to this. It made me very, very excited about becoming part of this community. I'd like to say a few words about the sort of process of education that's involved in becoming the next president of Lafayette and in thinking about becoming the leader of this institution, because the search process that Ed has described has a kind of parallel process from the candidate's perspective, in that I also was learning about Lafayette just as Lafayette was learning about me. So I'd like to say a little bit about what I've learned about the college and what I hope to see happen to the college in the next few years under my leadership. As I said, the college has such a strong sense of community that I think that's the strongest foundation to work upon. But I also think that a real strength of the college is its recognition of the many challenges that it's facing, both in the larger world of higher education and within the college itself. It's extremely well poised, as I think Dan has said very well, to address those challenges. One of the real strengths of Lafayette that sets it apart from many other small residential colleges is its unique blend of the liberal arts and engineering. And that's something, as you can imagine, we spent a lot of time talking about during the search process. As someone who comes from a liberal arts institution myself, I certainly recognize the tremendous value of offering the kind of grounding in habits of analysis and communication that students acquire as they try and wrestle with the largest problems of humanity. At the same time, in learning more about Lafayette's engineering program and seeing the way in which the kind of practical, problem-solving, sort of can-do approach of that program really infuses the whole institution, I became very excited at the idea of being part of a place that could bring these two areas so productively together. I became convinced in the course of the process that, in fact, a lot of Lafayette's unique spirit comes from that unusual mix, from the way in which sort of theory and practice are brought together within the curriculum, and how that becomes part of the whole institutional culture. I think that Lafayette is a place that seems very willing to solve problems, to identify them and confront them, and I think that that's true in many aspects of how it conducts its own business. It's something that makes me very excited about the possibility of helping Lafayette move forward in lots of areas. Another way in which Lafayette struck me as amazingly distinctive is in its recognition of the inextricable connection between academic and residential life, the connection that really makes a small residential college a place worth coming to. In the world of higher education today, as a couple of speakers have mentioned already, there are so many opportunities for technology to create new educational options and offer possibilities for studying things in places outside the classroom, opportunities that can be exciting, that can be valuable, that I think we can explore at Lafayette. At the same time, I think all of those opportunities remind us that at its core, a small liberal arts college offers an unparalleled opportunity for students to work closely with excellent faculty, to work closely with each other in teams that allow them to develop habits of collaboration, and ultimately to take what they learn in the classroom and bring it outside the classroom into the many activities that occupy Lafayette students in the hours that they're not in class. The strong tradition in competitive athletics, the incredible amount of volunteer service that Lafayette students do, the wonderful music and performance opportunities, all of these things are places that allow students to take what they learn in the classroom outside and really apply what they're learning. And I think that's what makes a small residential college the most powerful learning environment that a student can join. To be put in a position of having the opportunity of providing that kind of experience for students is tremendously exciting to me. And finally, the third aspect of Lafayette that I think will be its tremendous strength going forward will not be a surprise to anybody in this room. It's its tremendously strong sense of community, the strong dedication of alumni, of faculty, students, and staff to a kind of unique spirit of Lafayette that, as I said, has become palpable and meaningful to me in the last couple of months as I've come to know the college. One of the things that seemed very clear to me as I came to know people at Lafayette is that it's a community where people are willing to work together, to put aside small differences, though those differences are often clear, and to think about the future of the college rather than simply thinking about their own interests in the present or even their own cherished traditions from the past. All of those things have to be woven together into a vision of the future that allows the institution to move forward. And I see Lafayette as an incredibly energetic and ambitious institution that's not interested in sitting still, but is interested in moving forward. And that, to me, makes it a very exciting opportunity indeed. My family is very excited about coming to Easton. Some of us have had the opportunity to meet members of the community already. My husband Steve is here today. My kids couldn't be here. They have school. I couldn't really endorse their missing school. Steve, why don't you stand up for a moment, and just so people can see who this new guy is. Thank you. I'm looking forward to bringing the rest of my family here and also to coming back to campus soon for the other opportunities to meet members of the community that have already been mentioned in the press release and in the other announcements. We recognize that the timing of this event meant that it wasn't possible to meet as many people as we would like to have the opportunity to talk with. And so I'll be back on campus in a couple of weeks, and there will be chances to meet with students and faculty then. I'd like to close by saying again that it's a tremendous, tremendous honor to be offered the opportunity to lead an institution that I think is on a terrific upward trajectory. I very much appreciate being given the chance to be part of Lafayette's journey, and I look forward to the road ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Today was the beginning of a transition from one of the finest presidents that this college has had in Dan Weiss to the next level, a continuation of Lafayette's ambitious agenda from being a school that we all agree is really good to a school that we hope will be recognized and actually be one of the very best in the world. To celebrate that as a sense of community, I invite you all to join us all in the Williams Arts Center. Our sense of community and our sense of continuing transition and tradition is important. Please join us. Thank you for coming.